Hi there, Jesse Moore, Pickett Street Properties, Fred Boskus.
Pickett Street Properties.
So we want to talk today about CCO mortgage. CCO mortgage is not a huge bank, but they do a fair amount of loans in the United States. Our interaction with them has been mostly on second position loans, seconds, or home equity lines of credit. And so if you are someone considering a short sale in Washington State, we just kind of want to tell you what our experience is with CCO mortgage. And Fred, you're working one right now.
Yeah, and they like to play hardball, to put it bluntly. Submitted the package, and they pretty much drew a line in the sand and are really refusing to budge from it, despite the circumstances that are being presented.
Yeah, and we run into this with, I would say, smaller or mid-level banks that may not have participated in the government bailout. And their attitude is basically, listen, because we didn't get funds from the government, we're in a position where we can't absorb as much of a hit. And so, CCO, in this example, though, we're still settling for about 10% of the loan balance. Is that correct?
Right.
So, essentially, our client has a second with CCO. I think it's around $50,000. Mm-hmm. And CCO is settling for around, $5,000. So, that's the moral of the story. And actually, their response time was fairly decent. I want to say that we had approval from them in about 3 weeks' time.
It was fairly quick. I think the interesting thing about this process is the fact that they had already written the loan off and had written it off as bad debt, but we're still trying to get some money out of us.
Yeah, and they certainly will do that. But the good news is that while we got some resistance from them, and they are definitely rigid as to what going below that 10% number. Mm-hmm. They did settle on a $50,000 debt for $5,000.
Right.
And we had to be a little bit creative on getting that to work. And so in this case, the seller is having to come to the table with some funds out of pocket.
Before closing.
Before closing or post-closing, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And we don't talk about this a lot, so we should probably just bring it up, that there is a very good chance, although we try to mitigate that as much as possible,
right,
there's definitely the chance if you're doing a short sale with more than one lien on it, that you'll have to bring funds to closing. In this case, our client is probably going to have to bring around $2,500 to the table, and in exchange, they're going to be getting rid of $45,000 of debt with the second lien. So CCO mortgage, not impossible. We have experience with them. They're a little rigid, but they were timely in their response, and we have no problem whatsoever working with CCO mortgage. I guess that's our point.
Yeah, compared to a lot of banks that it's impossible to get a hold of someone, we had a specific contact who was actually answering the phone and returning voicemails and emails in a timely fashion. So, definitely a thumbs up from that standpoint.
All right, thanks guys.